Today, I want to speak about the golden era and history of Assam and the Northeast. First of all, I pay my heartiest salute to all the ancestral kings, chiefs, and warriors of the Northeast region. Northeast has its distinct history with golden period. However, ever since 1826, after the Treaty of Yandabu, the sufferings of the indigenous people Northeast region started. We lost our independence in the hands of British. Assam is the gateway of Northeast. The Indian Mughal rulers Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb tried to occupy Assam 17 times. However, the mighty Mughal force of Indian army under the command of Rajput Veer Raja Ram Singha was repulsed by brave forefathers of the Northeast at Saraighat. It was Lasit Barphukan, under whose command the United Northeastern Army fought against the invading Indians at Saraighat. The war taken place between 1669 to 1671. The expansion of Indian dominion in this part of the region was thus foiled by our forefathers. As a Austro-Mongoloid people, our forefathers are always united against the enemy. In the early part of 19th century, the Burmese invaded Assam and occupied large portion of Assam kingdom. The then Ahom king Chandrakanta Singha and Purandar Singha made a request separately to the British Commissioner David Scott at Gwalpara to extend help for expulsion of Burmese from the soil of Assam. Before starting the war against the Burmese on 4th March 1824, the political secretary of British government of India, Mr. George Swinton, had given assurance to the people of Assam that although by our expulsion of the Burmese from the territory of Assam, the country would of right becomes ours by conquest, the Governor General in Council does not contemplate the permanent annexation of any part of it to the British dominion. The proclamation given on 1824, 20 February. By a declaration, the British Commissioner David Scott also, on the basis of the above assurance of Mr. George Swinton, declared that we are not led into your country by the thirst of conquest, but are forced in our own defense to deprive our enemy of the means of annoying us. We will never consent to deport until we exclude our foe from Assam and re-establish a government adapted to your wants and calculated to promote the happiness of all classes. The British started war against the Burmese on 4th March 1824 and captured Rangpur, the then capital of Assam, on 29 January 1825. Driving out the occupation force of Burmese, consequent upon which the Treaty of Yandabu was signed on 24th February 1826. At that time, Myanmar known as Abha. The Article 2 of this treaty mentioned His Majesty the King of Abha renounces all claims upon and will abstain from all future interference with the Principality of Assam and its dependencies, and also with the contiguous petty states of Kasar and Jaintia. With regard to Manipur, it is stipulated that should Gambhir Singh desire to return to that country, he shall be recognized by the king of Abha as Raja thereof. In other article of the treaty, total 11 articles are included in the Treaty of Yandabu. Nothing about Assam, Manipur or other territories of the northeast was mentioned. After the Treaty of Yandabu, the British went against their own assurance and the proclamation made in favor of Assam Kingdom and started to annex the Assam territory as well as the neighboring Naga Hills, Lusai Hills and other frontier territories amalgamating with the British territory of Assam. Before the Treaty of Yandabu, the neighboring territories had their own separate entity, independence of each other. When the British left India, they left Assam also. But the so-called leaders of Assam wrongly kept the administrative power of the hill region of the northeast under Assam. It is the bitter part of the history for us. Manipur and Tripura were merged with independent India in October 15, 1949. After the merger agreement was signed with the ruler of the princely states. History tells that Tripuri Maharani Kanchan Prabha Devi signed the merger agreement with India to save the kingdom from the impending occupation by the Pakistani army. Manipuri Maharaja Bodhchandra Singha compelled to sign the merger agreement on 15 October 1949. Assam has no merger treaty with India, only British amalgamating Assam territory with British India. It is our history. Neither we can deny nor we overlook it. During the British rule in Assam, Bengali Hindus from Calcutta and Dhaka was brought to Assam as employees. From the Mymensingh and Sylhet district of the present Bangladesh, Bengali Muslims are brought to settle in Assam as agricultural farmers. Tea garden laborers were also imported to Assam for the British-run tea gardens. Nepalis from Nepal was also brought to Assam by the British. Rajasthani, Sindhis, Biharis, etc. were also brought to Assam as small dwellers. Thus the influx of foreigners and outsiders to the northeast started since the time of British rule in this part of the region. The infiltration and influx of migrants still continues, making it a big challenge to the indigenous people of the entire Northeast. Due to this, we are going to be minority day by day in our own motherland. As the government of India has done nothing to protect and safeguard the indigenous people of the Northeast, a PIL was filed in 2012 in the Supreme Court of India by Assam Sanmilita Mahasangha, Bide number 562/2012, urging the Honorable Supreme Court to issue directives to the Government of India for detection and deportation of the illegal East Pakistani, Bangladeshi and Nepalis from Assam and other states of the Northeast on the basis of National Register of Citizens and Census of 1951, and also to implement United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People 2007, which India also voted in favor of the declaration on 13 September 2007 at UN General Assembly, Geneva. Now Mahasangha's case and 3 other supporting same case, one from all Assam Ahom Sabha with Deuri, Khamti, Sunwal, Kasari, Missing, Kos Rajbangshi, Rabha, Sutia, Koiberto and Garo organization case 876 2014. Another case from Assam Movement Martyrs and Victim Families case 311 2015 and 8 Intellectuals case 68 2016 has been pending in the Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court of India. 2 Constitution Bench held for our hearing, but due to the COVID pandemic from 2020 onwards, the Constitution Bench has not been held. Earlier, 2 judges bench, Justice Ranjan Gogoi and Justice Rohinton Nariman, referred the above cases to the Constitution Bench simultaneously on 17 December 2014, 21st July 2015, 1st December 2015 and 10th March 2016. In regard to the indigenous community or people, I quote the definition forwarded by UN authorized special rapporteur Mr. Jose R. Martinez Cobu. Indigenous communities, peoples and nations are those which, having a historical continuity with pre-invasion and pre-colonial societies that develop on their territories, consider themselves distinct from other sectors of the societies now prevailing on those territories or parts of them. They from at present non-dominant sectors of society and are determined to preserve, develop and transmit to future generations their ancestral territories and their ethnic identity as the basis of their continued existence as peoples in accordance with their own cultural patterns, social institutions and legal system. In the context of the Northeast region, we should accept the above quoted definition of Martinez Cobu to identify the indigenous peoples or citizens in the region. The base year and date must be 24 February 1826, the date of Treaty of Yandabu, as because after the Treaty of Yandabu, British occupied the whole area of Northeast region. To identify the Indian citizen mentioned in the Indian Constitution, second part, clause number 6, there are 2 dates. One, without application, 19 July 1948, and second, by application, 19 January 1949. But in India, after independence, the first census was done in the year of 1951. So, the identification of the Indian citizen may be based on 1951 census report. It is legal and constitutional. It is to be mentioned that in Assam, NRC of 1951, Census Report 1951, and in the first electoral roll of 1952 covered all the whole Northeast region. In British created Assam, all the northeastern region is amalgamated. In these 3 documents, at least 30% foreigners and outsiders names are included. It is happen only in Assam and other northeast region. So illegal migrants coming after 1951 should be deported after detection. We cannot allow any foreigners from 1951. In other sense, we cannot destroy ourselves. Our 40% land are occupied by the foreigners. Migrants from other parts of India also occupied our land. Our some people or boys and girls migrated to other states for study and for job. They are in hostels or rented houses, but not occupied land of the other states. It is also a fact that these migrants have already occupied our political space also. Indigenous people should aware of it and fight against all the threats and challenges and find out the procedure for solution. High time to unite all the Northeast people, especially all the indigenous communities and the races, to fight against all the foe.